Hi, I'm Brenda Byron, Executive Director of Prairie Lakes Regional Arts Council. We're here at the 23rd Annual Regional Art Show, sponsored by Prairie Lakes here at the Art Center St. Peter. Here's the brochure cover. We've got 93 artists. We're really excited. 141 pieces were entered, and it was juried down to 93. Let's go ahead and take a look. First place, Malia Wiley from Lake Crystal. It's an oil painting called Stag, luxuriously robed in crochet. Very unique. Let's move on to the next piece. Lois Peterson from St. Peter. This is a mixed media entitled Green Landscape. Next, we have a silk print, Busy Season. It's by Deb Swenson from Otisco. Next, we have a mixed media piece by Pam Beidelman from St. Peter. It's untitled. Here's an acrylic painting by Karen Peters of Mankato. It's called Peacock Fantasy. Here's a mixed media piece by Tim James of Good Thunder. It's called Transcendental. Here's a pen, ink, and watercolor painting by Michael Callahan of St. Peter. It's called F This Job. Here's our fourth place award winner, Patricia Bielke from Morgan. It's made from fiber and antlers. It's called Freeform Woven Sculpture on Antler. Up on top, we have a watercolor painting by Marilyn Sween from Mankato. It's called Below the Surface. Next is a monoprint. It's by Mary Gitter Zender from Mankato, called Net Spectacle. Next, we have a watercolor pencil drawing by Joellen Preston from Mankato. It's called I'll Be Waking Up. Next is a watercolor by Carol Stott of North Mankato. It's called Coffee Cups No. 7. Here's a drawing by Stephen Martin of Wells. It's called Steampunk Valentine. Next, we have a wood sculpture. It's by Richard Jensen of St. Peter, called Mescape. On top, we have a natural stone by Bruce Berkmeyer of Mankato, called Outpost. One more natural stone by Bruce Berkmeyer from Mankato, called Cold Front. As you know, when you come to the Art Center St. Peter, we have two levels. We'll be having the show through October 18th, so be sure to stop. Here we have a photograph by Lillian Robinson from Blue Earth. It's called Dazzling Delilah. Here we have a mixed media piece, Autumn Perron from North Mankato, called 33.5 times 365. Next, we have another photograph by Kay Herbst Helms called In Our Hands. Another photograph by Jose Garibay from St. Peter called Madam Bailey, Toy Sitting for Miss Peyton. On top, we have a mixed media by Gregory Wilkins from Mankato. It's entitled Varanasi, India, Portrait No. 1. Underneath, we have a photograph by Richard Melavari from Mankato called What's Up There? Here we have a colored pencil drawing. It received 5th place. It's by Jeremy Osborne from St. Peter, called Lapita. Here we have an oil painting by Reed White of North Mankato. It's called Girl Bike. Shows a little bit of disappointment there, doesn't he? That also received a Merit Award. As you may have heard, we have 5 top awards for the show and 11 Merit Awards. So 16 artists total receive a total of $1,300. The exhibit will have a reception to honor these artists on the 25th of September. Here we'll move on to a pen drawing. This is by Eugene Erickson of St. Peter, and it's called Dan. Here is a scratchboard made by Jason Jasperson of New Ulm, called You Yourself. Here's a painting by Nicholas Schleif from Comfrey, By Any Means Necessary, Malcolm X. It's made with gunpowder burns. A second piece by Nicholas Schleif from Comfrey is called Search and Destroy, Doom, Gunpowder Burns, and it received a Merit Award. On the back wall here we have Jerry Tostenson from Mankato with a small watercolor called Mushroom on Vellum. Next is a mixed media piece called Sisters by Deb Grebner of North Mankato. We also have 3-dimensional artwork. Let's take a look. Here is a wood bowl. This is by Bruce Blaisdell of Mankato, and it's called Flag Bowl. It received a Merit Award. Here's a pottery piece by Lance Hartzell of New Ulm called Modern Antiquity. Here's a glass sculpture by April Malfors from St. Peter called Black Tie Affair. Here's a wooden bowl by Bruce Blaisdell of Mankato called Segmented Bowl. Here we have a porcelain necklace made by Deborah Evans Page from Le Sueur. It's called Effectuating Zenith. Here we have a barrel-fired ceramics piece by Joel Moline of St. Peter. It's called Flame Touched. And on top we have a fiber basket made by Patricia Belke of Morgan, and it's called Oval Cathead Basket, 7 inches tall. Here on the back wall we have 2 oil paintings by Brian Holland of St. Peter. The first one is called Remnant, and it received a Merit Award. Here's another piece by Brian Holland of St. Peter. It's called The Sound of Memory. It's also an oil painting. Let's move on. We have one large piece here in the corner. It's called Soccer Field, Cameron Jarvis of St. Peter. Sorry, it's an oil painting. Next we have a collage, and this is by Anna Martin of Mapleton, and it's called Pandora. Here's a colored pencil drawing by Jeremy Osborne of St. Peter. It's called Reflection of Light, and it received a Merit Award. Here's a pastel drawing by David Olson of Madison Lake, and it's called Aaron and Bear. And this fiber piece is made by Yvonne Corey of Easton. It's called Candle Wicking to Chanel, an Artistic Journey. So as you can see, we have quite a variety of artwork. Let's head on downstairs and see the other pieces. As I mentioned, Prairie Lakes has been doing this regional exhibit. This will be our 23rd. The Regional Arts Council serves the 9-county area with grants for arts organizations, community groups, schools, and artists with funding from the McKnight Foundation. This exhibit, we are using funding from the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, which is part of the Clean Water, Land, and Legacy Amendment. As you know, Prairie Lakes Regional Arts Council provides grants in the 9-county area, and we provide a grant to the Arts Center of St. Peter, so we're very pleased that they collaborated with us to have the show here in this location. Let's move on to this new artwork. This is a photograph by Melody Mickelson of Medelia, and it's called Snow Day. Here's a watercolor by Noelle Van Tol of Mankato. Dancing Orchids. On top is a photograph by Stephanie Rodger of North Mankato called Serenity. On the bottom is a watercolor painting by Peggy Tower of Sleepy Eye called Lily Pond. This acrylic painting is by Karen Peters of Mankato, and it's called Peacock Bouquet. This is acrylic on glass made by Lisa Beer of Mankato, and it's called So Blows the Wind. Over here in the corner, we've got to tuck right in here. This is a wood and metal sculpture, Strawberry Dulcimer by Joey Steinbeck of New Ulm. On top is a mixed media piece by Daniel Stark of Mankato called Musky Munch. On the bottom is an acrylic painting by Ann Judkins of North Mankato called Grand Canyon Impression. On the top is a colored pencil drawing by Jerry Levins of New Ulm called Help Yourself. A second piece by Jerry Levins of New Ulm, Fallen Leaves, watercolor and ink. This oil painting is by June Newberg of New Ulm, and it's called Toys in the Attic. A watercolor by Martha Elchert of Mankato called Dubrovnik Laundry Day. On the bottom, another piece, watercolor by Martha Elchert of Mankato, Capri House. Next is an acrylic painting by Robin Sant Anderson of New Ulm. It's called The Illusion of Control. Awana Arias from St. Peter, Wild Heritage Play. This is a screen print, and this piece received a Merit Award. A second piece by Awana Arias from St. Peter also received a Merit Award, screen print, and it's called Wild Heritage Parental Investment. Here we have a lithograph. This is by Gerald Martin of Wells. It's called 74 Martin. Another piece by Gerald Martin of Wells called Mios Domini is also a lithograph, and it received a Merit Award. This piece by Richard Malarve of Mankato received second place. It's a photograph called Ready for Harvest. This photograph is by Charles Eggert of St. Peter, and it's called Toxic Vision, and it received a Merit Award. This large oil painting is by Malaya Wiley of Lake Crystal. It's called DC Granny Stripe. We have another watercolor painting, and it's by Grace Galvin of Waseca, and it's called Quilt Kaleidoscope. Next is a monoprint, and it's by Bree Roberts of Madison Lake. First We Heard Them. Next, we'll see some acrylic paintings. These are by Richard Thiessen of St. Peter. It's called Spring Fling, Hooded Merganser. Another acrylic by Richard Thiessen of St. Peter is Autumn Reflections, Hen Northern Shoveler. This oil painting is by Margie Lazur of Mankato. It's called Bar and Grill. A second painting by Margie Lazur of Mankato is Corner in Tel Aviv. We'll continue on with another oil painting, and this is by June Newberg of New Ulm, Antonio and Claudio's Restaurante. On top is a small acrylic, and this is by Lauren Schlitz of St. Peter. I Will Arise and Go Now. A second acrylic piece by Lauren Schlitz of St. Peter is called And Go to Incenfree. An oil painting by Andrew Judkins from North Mankato, Yellow Falls, Frozen. Next we have a photograph by Kay Herbst Helms of Mankato, and it's called Thirst for More. Here's an acrylic painting by Rosemary Shepherd of Mankato. It's an acrylic painting and it's called Sunset Number 2. This acrylic painting is by Mara Heinz of of Madison Lake, and hers is entitled Landscape Number 1. The next one is an oil painting by Robert Moreta of Kasota, and it's called Retirement. Our last painting in the show is by Margie Larson of Mankato, and it's called Awakening. It's oil and cold wax. So that concludes our regional art exhibit. Here's your mini tour for the Art Center of St. Peter. Come and see the Prairie Lake Show up until October 18th, 2015. Thanks. Hi, we're here at the Prairie Lakes Regional Art Exhibit. Here's a piece of ceramic. This is by Michelle Kaiserschott of St. Peter. It's called Carved Platter, and it received a Merit Award. Third place is Cheryl Paulson from Mankato. It's called Wandering Winger 5. It's a ceramic piece, and it received third place. Also, we have a jewelry piece. This is a beaded necklace by Annette Hartzell of New Ulm. It's called Coral Reef. Next, we have pottery by Lance Hartzell of New Ulm. It's called Old Mexico. Here we have a functional piece. This is by Gretchen Kohler of St. Peter. It's called Lily Pad Pottery Tabletop. It's mixed media. Also, we have a ceramic piece by Michelle Kaiserschott of St. Peter. It's called Spirit Vessel, and it's a ceramic piece. Next is ceramic and string. It's by Hannah Newman of Mankato, and it's called Complexity. Over here we have a wood engraving. It's by Joel Moline of St. Peter. It's called Minneapolis Moline R. It's a wood engraving. Below it we have a lino cut. It's by Cameron Jarvis of St. Peter. It's called St. Mark's Cathedral. On top we have a watercolor painting by Jerry Tostason of Mankato. It's called Crimson King. Below it we have another watercolor. It's by Marilyn Sween of Mankato, and it's called Meandering Waters. Another piece, which is a monotype print, is by Virginia LaFrance of St. Peter. It's called Perfectly Preserved.